so that the salt can be released. There were some
Continue, Tonka.
there was some misunderstanding in relation to that, and Mr. Hollingsworth subsequently informed me that he completed the tiling, and there is a leaking pipe from upstairs that has to be fixed, and I think another section of the market that needs fixing. That is the roof. I did ask them to look into those matters and get updates so that when we come to the meeting, they can inform the council. But I haven't seen Mr. Hollingsworth or Mr. Kelman here this afternoon. I was just trying to call Mr. Boston to find out why they're not here. Because Mr. Boston was asked to look at the contract for the burial ground this afternoon so that we can have it signed as soon as possible. But I'm not sure why Mr. Hollingsworth and Mr. Kelman are not here to answer.
You want to call them right now?
I was doing that, sir.
I don't tell you. I've already suggested, and I'm saying it. I'll say it again that if we're paying good money for this kind of crappy work. I don't say we outsource the whole city engineer department. We outsource all them department that are doing nothing, and we hire people to treat with these issues. And this is something that we will do. We keep looking at it every year. Year come, year go. What I say, when you do the same thing over and over and expect a different results, your head mightn't be right. So if it's it that we can continue in this fashion, we displace them. We hire people to deal with the job, and I'm sure I said this over and over. You got 1.2 billion. How much is how much you spend? 1.2 billion for hire workers in this place. Forget what sloppy work. If we tender the job out, we might get somebody can bid 800,000 to do it. $800 million to do it, and we can save $400 million to be able to deal with these issues, and we'll be able to sort a whole host of issues out. So we're not come and hear this baloney from these people ever so often. TC, you get any clarification? No, look, just now.
Sir, I spoke to Mr. Boston, and he said that both engineers were supposed to be here. However, he's going to call to find out why they're not here and give me a call.
Okay, so we wait on that call. Madam, just now. You come back to you.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, this is not the first time. It is not the second time. It is not the third time we are being misled by this engineer. We're often given estimates way below the cost of works to be done, and we hear all these frivolous excuses that I'm hearing from the town clerk based on what was reported to her. I think the time has come where we have to put aside our emotions of who we like and who we don't like as officers and deal with them condignly, because it is happening way too often in the engineers department. One engineer stood there, senior engineer stood there to say to us, he couldn't find a man to go and stop a leaking pipe downstairs that is damaging our building. I mean, how often can we sit here? He could have gone and do it himself. He's an engineer. But they don't need to step out to the offices. They don't need to get the clothes dirty. They don't need the mud to get in the shoes. And so we're here, based here, like 30 fools sitting every fortnight to hear nonsense from them. I am fed up. We must have a proper estimate for the completion of this market. This market started since 2016, 17, by members of the engineers department. And we're in 2024, and it is not completed. And by the time we're ready to complete it, we got to do rehabilitation, the entire building back again. I mean, it's unbelievable. Please, sir, please.
Councillor Alfonso.
I just really wanted to quickly touch on the topic of lost income because here we've only collected 900,000. If we had rented all the stalls at the cheapest rate, which is 10,000, we could have collected at 1.8 million dollars year to date. I mean up to June. Right here we are collecting 900.
Again, I hear you. I can't do the work. You can't do the work.
Understood.
We have administration persons. We got the settlement set as well. General workers doing this or that. I don't know what they're really doing. I keep saying, I said this since I came to this council 2016, that when I did my own observation, I don't know what we were really doing with those guys. You got Tim Smith said, how much gutters we just do? Yes, we might need a plumber. Yes, we might need an electrician, but we could outsource these things as the need arise. But having them on the payroll obviously don't make sense. But we also need to address the issue of and Madam Jarrett could speak to this because I think some of the times when we discuss it, even under Chase Green's leadership, the issue come up about union and collective bargaining and you got to pay the people out. Maybe we got bond with belly and pay them out. Yeah, so I'm saying we have to if we have to do that, we have to do that. So if we have to deal with such matters, deal with it, and as the need arises, we contract people to do a job, but at least we'll have the savings of those money to be able to treat with those issues, and we outsource it to various carpenters and other contractors out about the place. So that is something we'll have to weigh the pros and cons up, weigh the options as it relates to how viable it may be, and maybe it's a matter to treat with at the human resource level to look at these issues. So, Madam TC, maybe it's something that we should have as an agenda item at the human resource level to work out the options, work out the numbers, quantify the issue, and let's make a decision because we can't just continue like this. Councillor Hines.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want
Oh,
to speak to this. And to say that I'm a little disappointed is a very minor description because we were guaranteed here by the questions asked some time before as to the time frame for the completion of this, so we can move to the level that you spoke about on contract. But sir, I think the problem is a little wider in the engineers department. What I am concerned about is that this department, I'm not sure whether it might then require council to perhaps devise a system where we can perhaps get maybe either daily or weekly deliverables from these officers that function in that department to know what they do every day. Because that is the responsibility of the administrator who should, when these things happen and they don't do what is being done, the conclusion is that they don't do anything. No, I'm saying as a council, it's our duty and responsibility to make sure that the decisions are delivered on. If they're not going to deliver on, then there are problems. So the CEO, in this case the top clerk, will have to devise some means or mechanism whereby she can know whether Mr. Bedger at the head, and I think he has administrative weaknesses, failures, and management failures because you can't manage a place like that where a decision is made by council to implement so the budget don't set that, they don't get the money, and then a man come out and tell you, what you doing all week, well, every day is what you do. So it might well require this council to get data to show, look, in this week, this officer, Mr. X, do X, Y, Z, because what I'm hearing here, I am of the view that a lot, if not all of them, including from the top right down, many days they do nothing. And I'm saying is that the council will have to devise some means, collaborating with the administration to get these people to do what they're supposed to do. That's all I wish to say on that.
I hear you, but respond on that. Councillor David.
The mayor. Last year, November, when the market visit up the market, the group that here were one of the groups that the engineer change. Because right over the door, you will see the ceiling damage. To know that, because in the building, know that there's a pipe or something was there leaking. And that was one of the areas identified last year in November that I had to fix. And this year, July, August, again. And you're telling us that you got to come back again. With all of that, the show still have to be done.
I hear you. What is obvious here is that the engineer, in this case, Mr. Hollingsworth, was required to identify all that is needed to be able to bring the market up and ready and functional for rental. He did indicate to us that he needed whatever money we have made those monies available. I think a couple of meetings ago, it was it was said that he's a bit short. We arranged and approved. We arranged and approved that additional sum, and it should have been ready and up and running. I'm hearing today that we still got areas that has to be addressed. I'm hopeful that when he reaches here, he answers us accordingly on this matter. So we're not going to further discuss this matter now until we have him here, so he can answer where he has to answer, and then we will decide the approach going forward. But again, these officers are paid to do a job, to supervise wherever if they have to. They also have staff underneath them to do whatever. We provide them with the necessary resources, and we're still not getting the kind of results. So then maybe we should make them obsolete anyway, because they don't really make any sense. Councilor Gary, had anything to say on this? Or I'm not sure. Okay. Wait until the engineer, right? Very well. All right, we shall proceed. What? Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, on page 11, sir. We had decided an application was made for someone to put up an electronic board some point by Pixel, I think it's Pixel and Diane. That matter came to the financial committee. I recall 3 years ago, or maybe more, we took a decision here, and we agreed then that the administration will provide the finance and the committee with the information as to what the charges were in relation to these boards so we can get a price on this. The last meeting we had, they did not provide us with that information. So this applicant is still waiting for the council to decide what charges they will have to pay for this particular request that they make. But what I want to find out now, so coming out of this meeting, from the junker, is whether they have been able to find what the charges were in relation to those boards, billboards, both the normal one and the electronic, because I know those prices were fixed and it was available.
I think I remember the finance committee recently we talked about it.
Yeah.
And the only reason we didn't really deliberate on that matter is because we didn't have the cost.
We hadn't the cost.
I'm not sure if you would have read that report or that minutes to see that. But we're hopeful that at the next finance committee meeting that we have, those costs are provided so we can make a decision to the people at Pixel or any other workforce seeking to have level, as well as those persons who have been renting from us and and having the board around the city. So we need that information in order to cross the issue and then to write to the different persons either to tell them this is the cost and those persons who have been paying how we address it. So I'm hopeful that you take note of that situation.
Sir, if I may update you, I was speaking to Mr. Boston just today about that same issue, and what he indicated to me is that the information that was provided before was not in relation to billboards, but banners, which are smaller than the billboard. So I did ask him if he can probably use that as a basis to draft maybe a fee structure for the billboards. So
Yeah, but
he,
we had to have something before for other people to benefit to use it. I remember for impressions and other portions we had things in place. And even if you have to go through your back minutes. I'm not sure if it's Scarlett.
She did, and she said that she could not pull anything in relation to the billboard, I guess, a fee structure in relation to billboard.
That's impossible though. I mean, how these people operating without this thing? I got a sample that up somewhere around the place and that I came on. That if we do nothing about it, and we hope that the people I know on the exchange we spent we had a cost. I'm tempted to ask Mr. King for the information. Yes. Yes.
And we would have called in those persons and we had a guideline of which they can pay. I'm quite certain if they check the records, they can find it.
Listen,
I mean, I was said to be the worst mayor, but I had some standards with the system.
at least I really was smart.
But you don't wait for me to complete. No, you don't wait for me to complete, but you follow up and you have become the worst.
But that could be sarcastic, but like you take it to your heart. Then you know
No,
it's
no, no.
But let's go on. Yes, please.
So, question. So, are we saying that since nobody knows the fee structure or how much city council charges for these things, are we saying that over the last couple of years, last 3-4 years, that council has not received a payment for any of
Well, that's
this?
what I'm saying. I could safely say to you, as part of a council, the way we had an amount. We had a structure, and I know King was a thorough man when it comes to these issues. He created stuff, had it in place, and if you can't find it, I could ask him, and I show him to find, and I could go back to my records to show it. But if we are saving these minutes, we are saving these reports. I can't believe somebody could tell me and tell this council that they can't find it. If we have a system somewhere downstairs, if you punch in the thing like that, it can bring up information to show when this was discussed and what transpired. And I'm sure in 5 or 10 minutes you could be able to find that thing. I don't know. I would really like to hear from Ms. Carlin on this matter, TC. What attempts she has made to fit with this issue, because this thing coming up back and forth, and we're not getting some answers in. But there's a system in place. If you punch in certain things, minutes of this, punch in keywords, the information come up. I would like some advice from Ms. Carlin on this matter. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, the system that you mentioned, that is the same system I've been using. What we've also been doing is that for certain agendas that are missing, we have the clerks, they are inputting those information. But we have from 2009 to 2019 on Excel document what I had shared with you before. That was done prior during Mr. King's time. And I searched that document thoroughly, and there's nothing coming up in relation to this. Just a person made a request, and it was a decision of the council. That is what is coming up. There's nothing with fees or anything.
All right, but you know what I'm saying, and maybe we got the engineering department and the town clerk department, or the treasury department should speak to payment concerning these kind of items. It has to be there. You're not seeing it. I'm pretty sure we can be able to find it, but there is information available to a structure or a guideline that's speaking of how we establish payment and where the town clerk department would issue that whatever documents allow for the people to pay. Something has to be in place. I expect, I'm not administration, but it must have a way of, I remember my first job working in the bank, you had to put this position on certain things. You had to write a note to the back of this, debit of the credit to this, to the other, to allow for you to, if you can't track it this way, you can track it this way. If you can't track it this way, you can track it this way. There must be some way or some other department that deals with this here that allow for that kind of situation to happen. I'm not sure what the engineering department are able to tell us. because it's an engineering issue and a payment order had to be put in place to deal with this issue.
Right. That's
All right. So yeah, go ahead, Council.
Yeah. Don't let it say that if the ministry seen the request from the board and the decision of the council, then you just cross match that to the Treasury Department
With the same time, around the same
around the
time.
same time, and
And
you
you'll find it.
and
They have to
it
take-
show up.
You sure?
But there's nothing coming up in relation to fees and policies or.
Department, something in some,
Somebody seemed like I did something.
something, but sir, I want to repeat the question that Councillor Alfonso asked. If not having information there means that all years, all these billboards are going up, the council isn't garnering no revenue from it. I'd like the council and the administration to answer to that.
Yeah.
If all those billboards you seen all of the place, we don't get nothing from it, the council get nothing from it. They don't sound right.
Yes.
That's where you start. Because I could recall even, don't know if Mr. Fraser will, Councillor Fraser will recall, he had proposed that even stores along Regent Street, putting up that banner, say, just using a store, John Jones and Company, that they should be paying, even if it's a 5,000 a year, to hang it on our, above our pavement. Those guidelines should be somewhere in the system, if not in the engineers department, in the treasurer's department.
I saw you on Council, but let me see here, Councilor Jacob.
Mr. Mayor, councillors, officers, let's get out. This is a
Really, this is-
call, but I asked this question on numerous occasions about the same rate structure. But I can remember that we had a particular incident, but not incident, an application from GRA, because the result on that side. There were no structure available. Hence, the members of the city committee started to call wild numbers. Some say 200,000, some say 100,000. So no structure was in place. Mr. Mayor, I humbly ask that the City Works Committee put together a structure that can then come to this committee for approval. Instead of us saying we go, because we're in different times, and a lot of things need to be taken into consideration. For instance, area, Durban, we call it Durban Park, not Durban Park. The St. John Road where it will be viewed, the size and so forth per square foot. So we can then take that on and put together a policy and a structure that can be.
Understand. Now, my challenge is what happened with the people then who benefited or prior. So that this new structure or guideline you're talking about is not something that can be retroactive. What we're trying to establish is what existed before so that we could charge those people who have, and we were hoping that whatever we get from what was charged before, we could revise it as well. So we were hoping to work with what we had, what we want to charge going forward and so on. But if we're going to create a new thing here, you can't retroactive any amount because this is something new. When in fact, there's a structure, as Councillor Green suggested, there's a guideline, and there are things put in place to charge. And I will get it because listen, I was part of it. Just you're sending me for go and do some unnecessary work in my garage. and we identify his own, then we look at all the others that is around. And what we will do is easy. All the others that he dealing with, we will get the other options that is outside of that, and we will contact the businesses who are advertising their business on top of those signs, and we'll ask them who they're dealing with on this issue to get to the bottom of this matter. Yeah. We could do the general notice one, but let me deal with Mr. Suklal internally first before we move to external.
So,
All right? Yes.
so are we saying that the engineering department does not have contracts for any of these billboards? Because they can quite easily provide the contracts as well, the signed contracts that they have with the.
I'm saying to you, I know this thing used to happen to the top road department under King in collaboration with the engineering department. I really can't say the details because I keep saying I'm not administration and I've never been.
But
Could you're supposed to do the job, and like you said, report.
could we request that they do it?
Report. I remember when I was here on that ECUV, I talked about it. I remember the answer I got at the time was these are peppercorn contracts. This is the word Mr. King used the words of me. Peppercorn. I never forget. I don't forget certain things. This is what how much years ago? Yeah, peppercorn contract. I said okay for the contract, provided to the council, and this is how we came up with a recommendation as to how we things. But I have to go back in my minutes to see how we can find that. But let us deal with Mrs. Sukla.
Tomorrow, 9:30.
9:30, but the meeting at where you want to meet? With me, you at my office?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 9:30 tomorrow. Good, settle that. And we'll get the answers and we'll bring back the information to the council. Councilor Young.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Fellow councilors, good afternoon. Mr. Mayor, the main cry of this council is that we don't have any money. We losing,
We don't have any money.
we losing money at the cemetery, we losing money at the market, and every department we losing money. But yet at the end of the month, we still meeting salaries and everything. We need to make a draw a line to some of these things. I mean, it might sound drastic to some people, right? But if it don't continue, it can become a time when this country don't exist anymore.
But tell me, Art, you made a good point, right? The part of the point that I would like you to suggest is that while we put the councillors and there to put policies and so on in place, the part that you spoke about is operational and administrative. It's not for me up to go there. The administration in the various departments should be able to identify these areas that we haven't collected here, this area we're not collecting, and that for us, when they bring those information to the table, we will then determine what other strategies we'll use to be able to deal with these issues. But we can't know it all. None of us here claims to know it all. But we will need information to be guided on before we could make more informed decisions. Councillor Solomon. Listen, yeah, I want to move on.
Officers and councillors, our 46
Yeah.
serving. Sir, I've taken pains to shy away from some issues when it comes to individuals in the council, especially our officers. But I will tell you on the issue of these billboards, I have a personal experience whereby in my constituency, they were erected rather, 2 20 by 50 billboards, electronic billboards. And on the morning of work commenced, I approached that person, identified myself, and I was told that they would.
How long are we talking about?
About 2 months ago. The billboards are there right now, like up functioning.
Give us a location.
Mapa Casino.
Oh, Mapa, okay.
And the gentleman said to me, this is not impressions. He said to me, I've spoken to X person, I will not call that gentleman's name, and I've been given information. I said, well, I will have to check to see whether or not that is so, because we have issues where these things are concerned and we lost revenue. Subsequent to that, about 3 days later, I saw a conversation, an exchange between said person and that person who was directing that billboard. Now, sir, we've been hearing the council losing money from night vending, we're losing money as council. Young just said, in all the departments of this council. and Councillor Alfonso is now saying to us that he has an idea in terms of the figures. So I would suggest that this council seriously consider the creation of a register for billboards throughout the city. If there is a register, then it needs to be updated. But I want to suspect that that would be flawed. So I want to suggest that this council seriously consider having persons identified who can use a vehicle of the council and go through the city constituency by constituency, street by street, and you will be surprised to find out that there are thousands of these billboards erected around the city, and we're not benefiting from them. So we talk about millions upon millions of dollars which this council greatly needs. So I urge this council, sir, to deal with this issue.
I understand. I think after the back and forth on this particular matter, I think we at least identify, while now we identify it, it's just that we haven't had that meeting of the minds. But it's getting to the point where we have to. So along we get that meeting where we'll be able to figure out all the concerns, impressions. Then the obvious thing is the balance that remaining is this, which will then lead to the list that you talk about or the registration of that thing, so that persons be able to. But we first have to identify what's the impressions. We have to then figure out what the others, which we will get to the bottom of that. Madam Green suggests that we should even advertise or put ad in the paper asking those persons to treat. But we can get somebody to drive around, identify all the additional others based on the list that he provides, and then we'll get to the point of how we'll be able to treat with this, as to what was the previous cost, and then we'll look at the new costs moving forward. I thought we exhaust a lot of stuff on this time. Go ahead.
And request some department there.
No, what will happen? The part is we have to get to what concerns, impressions. What we will then make a TC outside of us having to formally make a decision. You're the chief of administration and operations. You will then move to identify somebody. When we get that information, as long as we get that information between me, yourself, and whoever else we invite to the meeting, we will then decide what additional measures we'll put in place to have all the others in place, how we'll contact those persons, and so on and so forth, and we'll take a view. But we could assign a particular staff concerning the others to treat with those issues. So we'll move with it. It's not something that we want to come back here. When we come back here to give a report as to what happened and where we at on this issue.
Hope it doesn't take till the end of the year.
No, by the next meeting. All right. No other matters arising. Let's move to the next minutes quickly, please. Minutes of meeting of the special statutory, which was held on July the 26th, 2024. Page 1, page 2, page 3. I remember having glasses here. I got my glasses now. Mayor said that the project is okay. Page 4, page 5. Can I have a mover? I see Councillor Mohammed. Seconded by Councillor who? Mason. Oh, you wasn't at this meeting? Councillor Ellis. I don't know if we have to have any matters arising on this. This is a presentation. But if you have some matters you'd like to discuss concerning it. But, oh yes, oh shucks, we moved on, but I forgot that Mr. Hollingsworth is here. Through you the TC, I don't know if Mr. Hollingsworth will come to beside you so we can have a discussion on this kitty market. Mr. Hollingsworth, earlier many councillors raised a number of issues concerning the operation of the market, or getting to the point where we start renting it out to the various tenants. When we first discussed this matter, you would have indicated to us what is needed or required to get the market up and running and functional. We have asked for certain requests, materials, and your staff as well to deal with matters of getting the market ready. We're hearing that week after week that we're not there yet. I know that you had to get some tiles, some additional material. That information material was procured, I believe, by the procurement department. But we're still at the stage where you can't tell us when the market will be handed over to the clerk markets so that we can start renting these stalls. We like an idea as to what's going on with that, and we're hoping that that estimate or whatever you would have provided would have been the full and final amount in order for us to proceed to the rental of the market, because that is what we asked, and that's what we wanted, and that's what the intention of this council was seeking, to get the place rented out so we could get the monies necessary from the rental of this market. So please speak to us as to where we are in relation to the readiness of the rental of this market to the stallholders and other stallholders that we'll be considering.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, councilors, officers. In regards to the issue, we are ready. We had one cup whereby we had a leaking pipe that was placed within the ceiling. That matter was rectified about 1 o'clock today.
Okay.
That prevented us from covering the ceiling with the plywood that we have. That will be completed earliest tomorrow morning, so we can go ahead with the corridor. That's the only issue we have.
So when that leak is remedied, and I guess you'll have to do a mop up and a clean up, because the place looked a little horrible as it comes to material all over the place. I'm not sure who will be treating with that, or you probably get one of the solid waste. I see Mr. Rollins is there. Maybe you coordinate with him to have the place cleared and clean and whatever. And there's no other need for any other painting or anything else that you find that is necessary to get the place up and running. All right. So the only thing was the leak, which you remedied, and that you'll be able to hand over this through the town clerk to the clerk of market, so we can move on. Is that the right way, TC? Through you, then right. All right. Go ahead.
I have a question to Mr. Collins. When we discussed it, we spoke about fixing that leak when you're coming up that step. When you're coming up the step right there, yeah, that is one.
Oh, you mean the roof?
That's right. That was part of the package, and that has not been fixed as yet. Additionally,
right, listen, we're dealing with downstairs right now.
Sure.
If that issue is upstairs that needed down there,
I'll come into downstairs.
you will fix that.
Downstairs,
It's not a case where what do you need to fix that? You need some appetite or some whatever to deal with that, or you need a shooter stick, whatever, I don't know. You have workers to treat with that. And then you probably can do a little remedy to the ceiling. So that's I know the issue from there. Tell us what you can do with it.
Mr. Mayor, we budgeted for that in this year's budget to deal with the roof.
Right.
It's a bit complicated because we have to get some
Because it's thickness to the roof?
Yes.
Okay.
And we have to do some amount of work up there. So that was isolated from the work that we have to do on the ground.
How is that affecting the water leaking from that straight down to the people upstairs?
No.
So what you could do temporary while we look at a more permanent long-term scenario to deal with that issue.
Mr. Mayor, we can't manage it temporary. We need to fix it.
Fix it. Okay. No, I only said temporary because now we get about renting the marketplace. I hope that I want to leak down from there to downstairs and so on. I'm not hoping for that kind of a situation. But so that's why the only reason I said a temporary is to curb that issue while we fix the long-term plan. All right. So tell us when. I hear my next timeline friend talk about time. Let me hear when we give this market over to the town clerk.
By Wednesday or tomorrow afternoon.
Right.
Mr.
And then,
Mayor,
yeah.
I must say that I was in conversation with Mr. Lovell
Uh,
concerning cleaning out of the market. We would have also had indications to speak with Mr. the Director of Surveys. I spoke with him even at the statutory
right.
to ask him to bring in the skip in. So we already started doing the cleanings.
The inside.
Yes. We already started.
And outside of that, well, we'll talk about moving to renting. And while we can think about renting, we also got to think about the next set of garbage that can be created
At the back.
at the back wherever. So we're gonna have a system. That's not your problem. There's the solid waste. There's not, well, it's supposed to be the cloaca market's problem, but now we want to, I'm saying that all cleaning markets, wherever gonna become under, should have is it cloaca market responsible for this and this one, this, everything should fall under the solid waste department, especially when they cleaning. So we point fingers at one person. So I guess that will be fitted with at the level of the markets committee. We're going to figure out the people who had to rent and who was there before and whatever the cost we had and so on. I think that decision was made by a previous council. So we'll treat with that and we'll move on. Council Green.
Fixtures of every single thing
For readiness for rent.
to ready as for it. And what I would advise, sir, before it is handed over to the Council of Market, that the Market Public Health Committee do a walkthrough with the engineer to ensure that all the creases and crevices are clean and all that is supposed to be put in place, which will take care of garbage disposal, that they will have at least 2 or 3 skip bins. The toilets at the back are working, security in place, everything in place. So when it is handed over, the engineer cannot be blamed, or the engineer's department will not be blamed for anything else. That's my only question.
But I did indicate this now becomes after it's handed over to the market committee got do it. And the market committee, as you did indicate, I don't know if you want us to treat this as a one-item issue to deal with outside of the regular market committee thing, or have it in the market committee and then we do the walkthrough. I don't know, TC, that is, I'm guided by you. Because it's a one project thing, you know, we deal with it like that rather than get it lost among the other market committee issues.
I think that we can look at that
Separately. And then you do the walkthrough. And if any other council want to also come when we do that, let them also come. So we do a one item, we do the walkthrough, we discuss any other kinks and so on and so forth, if there's any. So that, yes, as Council Green said, we'll be able to clear the engineers department of any issue. So as long as it's handed over in this state, and we could be able to move on. And we come up with all the other solid waste issues, where we park this. Because at the back there, with the other parking at the back there, and the entrance going down, we got to find a way to be able to have garbage or waste stored so that you go through the back. So those are fundamental things that we have to deal with so that we could get this market up and running properly. And a real system in place, and that the system becomes a total buy-in by everyone. Councillor Dial, this is you.
What effort is being made to have back the old persons who are occupying stall at the market? What efforts are being put in place?
Oh no, what is sure, Councillor Dial? Wait, it's not. The people who are here before this was priority. I think you've indicated that to them. The only challenge is that the cost is not the same. Because they pay some peppercorn thing according to the work used prior in some other councils. So we really recommend a decision based on that as to what those rents should be. As a matter of fact, that should also be looked at when we have the meetings. So that we decide that this new council. Okay. So we decide if we rubber stamp it as that amount or we change it. But the scenario is those persons who rented before will have first priority.
But Mr. Ray, have we like reached out to them in any way or send them a notice?
Then now may walk. There's the clerk of market walk.
We have a list.
Yes, we have a list, and we can be in deal with them. It will not happen here where anybody who were here before can be displaced. The only time they can get displaced is if they don't want it, and then we choose to give, and they don't want to pay the rate. We decide we move to the next alternative. All right? Yeah. All right. Thank you. So there's no other item there, Madam Deputy.
I just want to let you know that it is here for discussion and the corporate market did produce at our last market meeting and we mixed up all the names of Stallholder. You know, and the increases and the upsets is for the reduction of music, which is interactive.
Yeah, thank you. Fix the place. All right, next item on the agenda. Opening remarks. I'll try to be as brief as possible. We having one meeting now. I hear enough voices. All right, I got enough things. Let me just try to concisely deal with these issues so that we could. I had a chance to write enough things, but let me see. No, we ain't done. We ain't got that problem. We ain't done. So we go to. I'm here. I'm at opening remarks. City Council. Okay. Over the last few days, I was invited by the IDB to a climate and water resilience forum or conference in Peru. Well, yeah. And I did represent the council at that thing. It was Thursday and Friday. A number of things were discussed in relation to the Amazonian. It's really concerning countries that's part of the Amazon. There are a number of countries that participated in that, in Brazil, Mexico. Let me see. No, not Mexico. What is the name? Peru itself, Mexico, Bolivia, Colombia was there. Yes, Colombia was Ecuador. There are a number of countries that usually go to those things and particularly benefit from it, because what they do a lot, they form a little bit of a team and lobby the IDB or lobby other funding agencies. So I was able to tap into that arrangement and to see how we could be able to benefit from such funds to treat with drainage matters, as well as other climate-related issues that affect us here at the council. So I will provide a report on that so that these persons will get an idea. I will also provide the information that was the other hard copies of the information provided so persons or councillors could understand where we are at on this issue and how we could benefit. We know we don't get we struggle for funding. Even sometimes itself, the government themselves doesn't give us our fair share, but they spend some in some areas as well to treat with a number of matters of the city. But at the end of the day, we don't have that direct funding. And I think that is a major issue, not only for Guyana. It's an issue that affects other countries as well. I think Jamaica was also there. And they talk about how the challenge they have as a local government trying to get funding from central government. And even this is the case where that municipality itself is a part of the current government, and they have their own struggles as well. So so these are things that were discussed, and we as a means of as to how we could be able to tap those funding. They also provided a number of areas how we could go about this. They have also will be putting together a working group so that we could benefit from technical support to be able to figure out if we have an idea as to what we like to treat with this, we like to treat with that, or I even raise the issue of our markets and where it's at near the Demerara River, as well as because it's all water resilience and so on and so forth. So there are a number of things that were spoken about and a number of ideas floated. And I will this Mayor City Council will be a part of a working group that should be formed by the IDB to bring these different projects aboard, some for funding, some for technical support, and otherwise, so that we could be able to get the kind of things in place so that we can make available stuff not only for the council, but propose these things from a national standpoint as well. So I thought I brief the council on that. The another key issue is while I was out, I noticed His Excellency went to the border market, and I also saw some other councillors there when I visited my Facebook page. While that initiative itself is commendable, I would just like to remind His Excellency that we have been working with the National Police. I think in a previous visit done by or led by Deputy Mayor, we would have treated within this particular issue at Stabroek Market, where we looked at scenarios, look at how we'll have CCTV placed, look at a number of issues surrounding the Stabroek Market and the challenges we have there, where we find those persons, those undesirables trying to rob or pilfer from a number of persons. So I think that is something, based on that visit and based on discussions of the council, we were looking at Stabroek Market, and obviously our plans was to take it to not only Stabroek, to Border Market, to other markets that we have. We're not to scared to Kitty, but we may have to look at that because this market itself will be open for business. So we'll have to see how we look at additional security measures, CCTV measures, and other measures. So it's not for a want of not trying, but this council has been doing its lot to be able to get measures in place. I believe the Stabroek Market itself, where the National Police is now has written to the town clerk, right, to provide the CCTV cameras so we can monitor people. I believe the same will obviously have to happen at border. Outside of this outpost thing that they have, or that the government has just, the president has just caused to happen. The initiative itself is a good one. The placement of where the outpost is not necessarily the best one. And that is where you should have had more consultation with the council and officers and others to determine exactly where it should be placed. No, this is my remarks. I won't have any comments. All right. So I'm just saying that this is the kind of situation that you have the local people and the consultative approach on this kind of matter. So we believe that kind of a situation should happen. And I was watching the video itself, where vendors also spoke about persons riding on motorbike robbing people. Our constabulary is responsible for the markets and to provide whatever security we have. If people riding on motorbike on the national roads and robbing person, that becomes a national security issue. So naturally, if the government wants to provide some national security measures and to cause the national police to do some things, that is also a good initiative. But it can't be a pointing finger one. It should be naturally something that is a collaborative in itself, where we collaborate as a city with our constabulary, with the national police to deal with these issues. It shouldn't be one of a pointing fingers at anyone. And I didn't find that very pleasing. I thought that, we can't be tit for tat on issues of national governance and how we should be able to deal with these issues. These are collaborative efforts, and we've been collaborating with the National Police as it relates to Starbuck Market. We've been working on that. We hear that the president and others went on a walkabout border. Yes, they went on a walkabout, but it's one that must be, all hands on deck, because we can't micromanage everything. We need the support necessary, and we're happy for that particular support. I also heard um, in that video where there were talks about the border market and the nature of the green section. That particular section itself, we know that it need addressing. I believe part of our plans as it relates to our people who are doing the feasibility, they've looked at a plan for that border market. They've looked at, as we said, a plan for the Starbuck market. They'll look for plans for the vendors arcade mall and also our vendors or the bazaar. So these are all transformative plans. And these are not transformative plans that we believe we could finance. As we all know, we have to work with government. We have to work with other persons in finding the right model to be able to deal with these issues. But as my colleague, Councillor Jacobs, would always said, provide the projects. I've heard him say this many times, provide the projects, and at least let us take those projects to government. We have so been doing these kind of things to be able to bring forward these projects, not only take it to government, but take it to other persons who could provide grant funding, to the High Commission and other various commissions in Guyana to be able to do what they can do for us. I also heard when the people who made a presentation to us, they talk about the King's Foundation that they will be approaching to treat with these issues. So this thing has a number of different options that we'll be looking at when we come to that. But the fact remains, the council is making its efforts in putting together proposals, coming up with ways and means, discussing these things at length. And this is the understanding of us finding a real solution for our vendors, finding a real solutions to not have the streets and the pavements all taken up by vending. We are trying to find ways to be able to bring real solutions to the people. And I think that is the whole concept. But while we put this together and hoping that we could talk with the government and have these real discussions, we tend to hear something else that I heard in that interview, the president suggesting that we just shed the border green. I am not, in this day and age, this is not a 19th century scenario. This is a case where this country needs to be transformed with all this oil money and all this monies that we have available in a massive transformative way. And if we're talking transformational development, we can't be talking about the shed. If the shed maybe something is looked at, it could be something that is temporary. But we ought to be thinking ways and means how we could bring a better life and a better social and empowered scenario to our people and our citizens, cause those people to own something, cause them to benefit from whatever, and once and for all, bring a real solution to our streets, bring a real solution to the vending, find new vending areas for whatever, and employ more people in our constabulary to be able to enforce forces not going back on the streets. So that is the way in which I believe we should be looking at matters. So I was a bit perturbed when His Excellency would have spoken about shedding the border green. I think the time has passed for such issues. Now, if we're talking about the new Dubai or this Guyana that we're talking about that's supposed to be going someplace, it got to be something where we start thinking outside the box and thinking big and huge. And like we're talking about the fancy bridges and the fancy whatever that we're doing, we must be looking at these matters in such a fashion It can be one that is cosmetic. It can be one that is band-aid, and it can be one that we only thinking of bringing a plaster to the sore. We have to find more permanent solutions, and permanent solutions speak about understanding these studies and understanding the direction we need to go, and for government to go to the coffers or go to the the fund, the oil fund, and bring out and to put out some of the money or debit some of the bread, all right, and bring to the situation. Why I say this too is that if we're gonna socially develop people and improve their stock and to do what we have to do, the vendors are very important to all of us. The vendors' lives are very important to all of us. They have a family to mind. They have people that depend on them. They have mortgages to pay. They got car bills to pay, and so on. So if we're gonna look from a social and national standpoint as to how we deal with this is a great way of empowering those persons. Going back to some shed is just being cosmetic. We need to think bigger and huger than that in treating with these issues and to changing people's lives in a major way once and for all as we move forward. So I thought I mentioned that based on the video I would have seen, and that the conversations surrounding those discussions. And I thought I raised it at this level of the council rather than some people ask me I should what I should fight toe to toe on those issues. I don't do that. This is the forum in which I discuss the business of the council. I will do that here. I mean, I'm not gonna go if somebody said this, I go and say back this. I don't operate like that. So I thought that I raise it here and let us treat with that issue. What's this? Oh, um, oh, all right. So outside of that, yeah, I said just now. I think I cost just now. Start with this question. Use of bus. Still continue. So a little cautious. All right. Okay. Just one thing. You asked me just now. Not right now. I have to give some ambition. Try to. All right. I would like to speak on this subject of. I'm not. It may come up in the discussion, but this garbage issue. I know we'll come to the issue concerning the contractor. I gather somewhere along in this report, deputy, we will speak to the garbage contractors. All right, but the one as it relates to indiscriminate dumping and littering along the streets is something that bothers me. I keep driving around sometime after church on Sunday or wherever, just watching what's going on. I do go to church, so I'm gonna mix up. I'm still God fearing. Some people are not, but I am. So whatever. That's me belief. Let me left it like that. If you see a differently, that's your choice. All right, okay. So the issue of this people dumping along the way and parking stuff here. So yes, we know the contractors got to do what they're supposed to do, but you have those persons dealing with throwing things all over the place. People sending me from Demerara waves to this waves to Kaiju News, Tablet News. I'm like, there must be some kind of a solution outside of that. I was thinking it out aloud. I also had a conversation with Mr. Rollins on this issue. I know myself and Walter speak a number of times on this particular matter, but this thing ain't going no place. And we ought to, outside of the contractors, figure out a way what we can do about those persons working within the department. I I'm guided here, TC, that our workers work from. I know we have risk and people, the sweeper cleaners who works, or sanitation workers who work maybe around the clock. I would like to hear about that. And then our workers who work our sanitation trucks, and I think we have this skip bin people who collect something. I don't, not too sure. There's a skip bin or two skip bins that we have. Where the whisk hauler truck that we have, the hauler truck pick up stuff and do whatever. Um, I think one is at the abattoir, and the other one that goes around doing a few things. We need some answers around those issues, TC, where we could have somebody working not Monday to Friday, but round the clock, or people or a team rocking around the clock to deal with this issue. Um, it can't be just that, oh, this contractor in doing this or the one in doing that. It's a case where there are other dumping areas that are being created, and this thing is done in I went Friday Rich. It's going into Saturday and Sunday. So sometimes when the thing is most visible is on Saturday and Sunday, or especially Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday throughout the day, where you seeing when you drive around the place, you're ashamed. So we ought to put something in place to treat with that, either some shift system, some way of getting those persons to work around the clock, because the business of sanitation don't stop on Friday. It probably gets more on Saturday and Sunday. So I would like some guidance on you, TC, on this particular issue as it relates to timing, on how those people work, and also how we could put some systems in place outside of the normal arrangement to get persons walking around the clock to keep the city clean. Myself and Mr. Rollins had a conversation on this matter, but I want to hear from you first before I ask him through you to have a word with us.
Sir, let me start by saying I can remember many moons ago, the council had a team who would work at night as well to keep the place clean. So when the vendors move at a certain time, we had a team of sanitation workers who would go around and clean up after them. So
There's on weekend. There's weekends. You're talking about regular
during the day.
during the day.
Sorry, during the week. Sorry.
During the week, or you mean there's a 7-day thing, everyday thing?
I can't say about on weekends. I'm just telling you, like from going to school or going to UG. I can recall seeing them at night, and they would be cleaning around the park area. But somewhere that actually fell off. We no longer have that team. I believe that it is definitely something that the council needs to relook at. As it is right now, the sanitation department, the sanitation section rather, is understaffed to undertake that task.
But meaning sanitation, meaning the people who walk around with with those wheelie bins.
Yes, sir. I believe that by 1 they're off the road.
But see, those are things we need to sort out, and I don't even know why they're off by 1 in the first place.
Sir, it's their working hours.
Fine, but do they need
that we have with the union as well?
right? But do they need to work from that time in the morning to that time at 1, or we need to bring forward the time to allow them to work till 4 or 5 or something like that?
Sir, I believe that that is something we can discuss in connection with the union as well to see how best we can shift. Once the council agrees that maybe we can better utilize them by shifting their hours of work. I believe.
But how hard is it to do? I mean, why is it that's something that we should be able? We paying these people, and we want them to work from this shift to this shift. We don't want them to work from this shift to this shift. That is a decision. Is we making them, and if we paying them. And if this no union can decide when they should work.
Sir, may I remind the council that these sanitation workers fall under the Guyana Labor Union, not Mr. Duncan. And
GLU,
yes, sir. If we're going to change the hours of work, we will have to consult the union.
All right, I'm not saying that we shouldn't consult them, but I know for sure they used to work a different time before. They used to work. We said it's work from 8 to 2. No, from 6 to 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning.
7 to 1. 7 to 1.
7 a.m. to 1 to 1 p.m.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, even if those persons may have to remain TC,
Yes, sir.
maybe we need to have another shift of persons working differently. I mean, Brooks, we got sometimes you gotta find money to allocate the right place. Remember, no Brooks, nothing. Yeah, with some Brooks business. Eh? You have a city daughter, you gotta find ways to solve it. If not, you keep getting blamed. Go ahead, madam. He did it. I know he could do anything like that. He had to do that with the approval of the council.
And move them around. So I would like to know if the street ordinance are still in place, because you used to have people go through the streets.
I see people street orderlies moving around. Yes.
What we need to do is the shift system, because after 1 o'clock,
Mhm.
town doesn't stand still.
Exactly.
So town, people continue to move at
Yeah.
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Time you get people coming from all over, the stores, the banks. We need people, especially by our marketplaces, Starbucks Market, Border Market, East President's Market, where people stop to buy stuff to
Right.
take home. We need those sanitation workers along those areas to keep the place clean. If we have to talk with the union, let us go back and talk.
I ready to talk to them tomorrow. So this is something we're dealing with.
What we would have also stopped was overtime if those persons
Mhm.
have to pay overtime. We've got decided we would have paid overtime for them to work extra hours and how they work the extra hours and don't abuse the overtime.
Mhm.
So those are things when you meet with the union, you have to talk with
All
them.
right. Fine. All right. While I know I hear you on this, all right. This 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. is 1 p.m. is that TC? This 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. Who's be out there? We got enough work for people at 7 a.m. I'm just asking a hypothetical question.
Overnight garbage from 1 o'clock.
I'm asking. I overnight.
From the time they come out the road 1 o'clock,
Uh-huh.
and the people start going all over the place,
Uh-huh.
moving up and down. You got that garbage building up
So
till 7
there's
o'clock next
right.
morning.
So there's 7 to 1 p.m. Right? Now we gotta get another. We gotta get.
7 a.m. in the morning.
But we gotta get a shift from it.
Mr. Mayor, they're working 7 in the morning to 1 p.m.
Right.
You have to have a shift. And you're talking about a 24 hours, you got to get 2 shifts. Another one from 1 to maybe 9, and the other one from 9 to 7 in the morning. And so you have a clock.
I don't know.
But I don't think we got that kind of money.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So let.
If you ask for a second shift, you'll have to determine if that shift comes in at 1 and works until 9 or till 8, because it's only an 8-hour shift. Anything after the 8-hour shift is overtime. So you'll have to determine it. And if you go back on Mr. Duncan, you got to sit down and strategize properly.
All right. So. All right. So what is understood here is that we at least we know about 2 shifts. We need at least another shift to get this thing right. So we're gonna talk out to him about that. Now, in the interim,
How much would it cost?
I would like to hear from Mr. Rollins because we spoke. I want him to tell us about this this kit bin arrangement. I think he's been doing some work with it. Tell us about this, Mr. Rollins, and then let us figure out how we could get this to happen on either on a daily basis throughout, as well as the weekend arrangement. Maybe we could put some additional workers or get additional workers to fall in to keep with that, so that at least we could incrementally solve these issues while we look to have this discussion with the union and what are the workers we need. So tell us about this situation. Just for this. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Company's officers. Just to go back to give some clarity. The street armies, they work from 7 to 1 in the afternoon. And then at board market is also a shift system whereby one set of staff work from 7 to 3, and the other set work from 10 to 6. That's
So wait. You say that You got the street orderly who do 7 to 11. Then you got border market, what?
Border market, so they work from 7 to 3. And
Uh-huh.
next set coming from 10 to 6. So street orderly, they focus mainly in the Stabrook.
So 10 to 6, 10 to 6, 10 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon. On what side it is be? At where?
Border market. Border market and it surrounding areas. So their boundaries extend from Church Street to South Road and from Cummins Street back to.
What are you gonna do for us too? You're gonna provide us with the whole schedule. You provide us with the streets and a drawing of how what is what and how much are leads and so on. And we want we want a drawing of this thing showing how these people work and what they're supposed to do, so we can be able to establish if they're doing anything. If we say we're paying people for work and they said they walk in and the place still dirty, so we need that you will provide to all the councillors. All right. Continue on the aspect of 10 to 6. I said the other one work right. Now tell us about this skip bin and this tractor. Is that we call it thing again? It's a trailer.
Yeah.
Skip trailer. Skip trailer. Okay. Tell us about the skip trailer and the bin and how what plans you have in mind to bring more cleanliness to the city.
So, Mr. Mayor, we spoke last week. I did implement the system with this truck and the skip trailer to deal with parking space, but it's insufficient. The more you clean, the more you see garbage appear. To be honest, clear church,
all them avenues, all them streets that
all over. You're clearing, and you still see more appear. And the issue to complement that a lot of us are burning the garbage. So as you start to clean, you see it's at the bottom of the garbage is fire, so you can't take it to the landfill. So now you have to leave back also.
So you can't take. Oh, you mean if it half burn or it done burn, you still can't.
Yeah, like it doesn't accept burn stuff.
Oh, no. Why does this?
Because it can ignite back at any point, right? So you can't take the landfill, right? So we have that other issue whereby a lot of the heaps, if you look at high bridge, street, all the areas.
My national printers down there. I see a pass it and check the situation.
Yeah.
I see the when you come down the back street there.
Right, Princess.
You're not Princess. Yes, Princess. Yes, Princess.
All those heaps over the past over the weekend was
They moved some, but I still see it. I still see stuff. So I was wondering why it's there.
But because remember, if we use the excavator to clean it, we can't separate the burn stuff from this fresh stuff. So you have to.
So what you must say, it can't be left there forever. So tell us what you're gonna do about it.
So to move that part, you need an open back vehicle. We need to. There's other two options we have, Mr. Mayor. We have to look at hiring trucks to work along with us to move pathways, or we have to contract pathways out separately because the little that we're doing with the tractor is not sufficient, and we continue to see it increasing over the days.
I see that's keeping them small, but and when you don't do that, you got carried to the landfill.
Yes. And the landfill is taking a long time to reach into the cell and then out back. So there's a lot of contributing factors that contribute to this whole issue.
No, I want to hear a short-term plan from you. You manage. We hear don't know right now.
No, I just explained, sir. I don't.
But tell us what outside. You did say a truck. You need a truck.
If you look at hiring a truck,
but a truck is a high truck. How you gonna put that thing in the?
You can use a wheel excavator.
Like move an excavator to them thing and
wheel excavator. Not a truck excavator we use.
What about the skid? We got a skid thing like we just pick up things and just do something. Yeah. A small thing. Huh?
I know. That's a smaller one.
Skid thing like about 50 thing. And they could throw inside of the same
the truck.
It can't reach the truck. We could throw in the same skipping thing. They would help it to be faster.
The wheel excavator works efficiently. Right?
Yeah, but the wheel excavator is a big thing for driver all the time.
It has one.
I mean, if we have small one, we know we have one.
God.
We want to survive another one.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if we use a wheel excavator and we rent trucks, then we can do more work in the city. We can maybe look to delegate maybe 2 days in a week whereby we rent trucks and the park will push a forward. Because initially when they take over the
councillors are like hearing. But before no, I want to hear from the David first.
So at that time, I don't think we have enough garbage on the road that people throw. And then sometimes the store went around Avenue Republic, Barbie's A Park area, seven majority of them when the people come out with a bin, they try to throw stuff in the bin, and the people, the RDs behave terribly, can't throw nothing in the bin. The people complain about this is why people dump in. Because when they already pass through the big bin, they cannot put they refuse it. They said they don't want it to go in the bin. And they refuse it. I don't know, sir, but the people, the store vendors complain because sometimes they have excess garbage in their back. You understand? So the time, so before the timings that the people that they walk up the road to certain just walk to Main Street, past Court, so like before 4:30 in the morning, and then come wrong back to here. No, sir, that time is wrong.
No, the director, yes, there's a team for the place. Remember, we had an issue with the hybrid after Sunday morning. It's little as a food. So a team was put in place to deal with early in the morning. That's a poultry person. Yes. Good.
There's from Main Street, it's walking to Main Street.
Yes. So there's that team.
Not all the time.
So we can tell us what the team. What right now with the team? So that team, it was put in place to clean Main Street, the main thoroughfare, which is Avenue Republic. The
why they get
bus park area.
I access to the question. Oh, I'm president there too.
Yeah, so there's only those three staff.
But how much staff you got training in Main Street and wherever, and them staff who start at 4 o'clock, what time is go?
They have task work. So they have to clean Main Street, Avenue Republic.
So you want to task to clean all the money here? Why we can't do that? Because why we first, I love how the area looks wonderful, yeah, whatever. But there are other areas that are suffering. Let me understand what they got to do so we can get them here. Because what I get in tremendous blame, and they send the messages to me. And I feel like, what do you want me to do? I try and I got so much time, this, and I'm not getting it. So please, I hear you about this truck, but you're telling me now about another set of people who walk cleaning Main Street.
Mr. Mayor,
And who else? Which side is clean Main and else?
Main Avenue Republic, the bus park, and also by the high bridge.
All right. Now, how much people is doing? And one is what? From what time to what time?
Task work. So they may end from 4 to 8 in the morning, something.
4 to 8 in the morning. Yeah. How much people you got doing that kind of work?
Four.
Here, this particular report for the street and who walk with and whatever, this was put in the data as well. This same thing here. So we want to know everything. Yes. How much people is that for? 4. Okay, thank you, man. So you got 4 and we get it clean. We got 4 clean, let them play fantastic. Let me put all the people fantastic. Let me put everybody fantastic.
Mr. Mayor, yeah, realistically, certain areas are not so heavy polluted. You must understand that. Around the present would not be heavy polluted.
But then when we clean it every day.
No, that's what the average aside. One area for aside. Such areas will not be heavily polluted. The major thoroughfare, Avenue Republic, is not heavily polluted, but they clean it because that's a major thoroughfare area.
You know the contractors them got to do what they got to do. Clean, pick up them. This dumping here, dumping there, this whatever we need to get that fixed and remedy. So we're talking about having an additional shift for, as you said, adding some trucks and so on to the tail. But I'm hearing too, as Thompson said it, many times some people don't want to throw certain things in everything. These same on release or whatever it is. But we need to find a solution to deal with them issues so that the place don't look as dirty as it's looking. And it's not cost $1 billion to do that. It's a little bit money. It's the little things that matter. Let me get a little money and add some additional people and get this thing done. Tell us the solution. I don't know. Many here, we are directors, yes.
but we're guided by you on this issue, or guided by Mr. The Rhinos Weber. But we need some answers on this matter, because some people tell me, you know, it's a mentor by like you're losing the race on this issue with this garbage. Comment. Another one tell me some other fancy comment. I like driving around looking, I send me over pictures on these things. I can't just be doing that. Then now we work. Yes, we could create a WhatsApp thing that we can look at as people treat with it better. We can have a committee on it, a special committee to send information. Now this committee is just people garbage. Send it to our people who dump it. But give us a realistic solution. I hear you about the trucks and adding some things, but let me come back to you. Let me hear Councillor Fraser if he got something. Then Councillor Jacob. All right.
One thing that we can do is to hire a truck or two trucks. And we have in our possession a small excavator machine that will go to the different sites and pack these things in the truck and clear them away. And I'm certain that in 2 or 3 days time, a truck or two will do well. For instance, opposite St. Sidwell's right now.
Where?
Opposite St. Sidwell's right now. The whole small road is filled with garbage and tires and all kind of stuff. I'm certain it will take a good half a day to remove all of those things. So he gave us a solution just now. Yeah, so he gave us a solution just now that we can hire a truck or two. That's all we need to do. We have a machine to go around and to put these things in those trucks and take them out to sea.
I hear you, Councillor Fraser. I don't know that is the solution. I don't believe that is a suggestion. I don't know that there's a total solution to this thing. I'm seeking, and I believe this council is seeking a total solution to this problem. He telling me about some food trucks, and he said these food trucks were every 2 days or something. Something you can give us a real solution to this indiscriminate arrangement. Councillor Jacob. Just one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I want to mention, because I'm not sure if most of the councillors know, that the National Enhancement Committee for the 9th time will be cleaning around Guyana and also Georgetown. I'm saying this to say that while you, as the mayor, and I'm happy that you're doing it, try to have some sort of a band-aid fix to this situation. I'm saying, okay, I'm saying a band-aid fix because of what we're trying to do in terms of hiring 2 trucks and going around and picking up the garbage. Will that then encourage persons to go back and dump, meaning that, listen, that, so because if we remove this garbage, because I'm saying again that this is the 9th time they'll be doing it. So you clean the particular area. I'm saying, okay, but they come and clean, so I'll put it back here. Mr. Mayor, my long-term solution is to make sure that we, first of all, have some sort of public awareness and culture shift. We continue to speak on this, but do not act on it. Set up some sort of sting operation with the Ghana police force to seek out these persons who are dumping and also forming these illegal sites. To set up some sort of CCTV. You know what I'm saying? At these particular or at strategic areas where we see this, this sort of dumping, we mentioned the name and shame campaign. I'm saying all these things. These are long-term. These will have long-term benefits. I'm saying if we go and clean, because there's a plan for a national cleanup this Saturday. So all around Georgetown will be clean.
They don't know good work.
But
no, I'm telling you, they don't do good work.
No, but so my good councillor said they don't do a good job, but he can highlight areas that he feel that they should improve on.
Correct, sir.
And he can actually, and I'm giving it,
I see I recognize one person, man. Let's have one meeting.
right, but enforcement is major. So we speak to the Ghana police force and we start moving to action instead of having these. Sorry.
What I'm saying, but I want you, Councillor, and I want you to understand that you first have to clean the place to get it in a state already. So the obvious scenario here is that we got to deal with the issue. The prosecution, the name and shame, and the other issues as it relates to even getting those businesses that we talk about. We had a meeting with the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce in relation to receptacles and so on. All those things will come into the equation. But the fact remains that we just can't left the situation as it is. Yes, the 17th or whenever they have a cleanup campaign that happen this weekend, we appreciate that. But it's not a cleanup campaign for the city alone, as you did in the game. It's a national cleanup campaign. So this thinking behavior by people is a national thing. When people need, not only the city, people need to be educated. All the people nationally need to be educated. So it's a cultural thing, as Council will be back to say. So we have to fix that culture and fix that issue. But the fact is, we have to do it. We just can't leave it. So we got to fix the issue, come up with some kind of thing, get a permanent. So maybe we have this introduced because government said it's doing a general cleanup. So this became, well, but if we should really and truly try to put this in place, it must be a permanent, real solution that will keep the thing clean. We'll then identify, as Councillor Jacob said, as people go back there and dump or try to do whatever, we will be putting systems in place to police the issue and to prosecute them, name and shame them, and other things that we have to do to be able to deal with those issues. But the fact that we have to be able to deal with these matters and deal with it constantly. And as a department, I guess that's something you need to put in place. So I'm hearing you, Mr. Rollins, about this. Would you still be using your risk on your truck, your skip trailer and skip in? That will be part of the pickup plan, as well as you need 2 trucks. When and when, like we want to hear this, because you're write it up in a plan and we'll look to approve it. If you need any other staff or whatever you may need. But we will deal with it. But tell us a bit more about that.
Mr. Mayor, respectfully again, respectfully. It's becoming repetitive, whereby we come and ask this question. Many of the things that was said this afternoon by Councillor Jacobs, which I agree with. I said this before, but long-term plan of essence here, I said at committee meetings. Right, Mr. Mayor, just hear me out. Yeah. Right? We must understand, right? For you to have this level of kindness that you want in the city, we have to spend more money. Right? During 2017 to 2019, the Southwest Department wasn't in any constituency, any group. We were doing parking-based with the city along with the contractors. The city was in a better state because we were focusing on all aspects of solid waste collection. That's residential, but parking-based, commercial, everything. We removed that from the contract, and we say the Solid Waste Department should do it. Without resources, we'll end up in a situation. We will end up in a situation because Solid Waste generated 24 hours a day.
Yes.
So I can understand that the more you clean, the more they'll be there. Look at the Solid Waste Department staff strength. Look at the composition of staff. And there's a lot of female compared to males. We start taking on the constituencies. We have to move most of the males, the young men, towards the truck area to do residential clearance. So we have to look at it holistically. And the Southwest Department, the Southwest Committee is there for that. I'm just saying, and says respectfully, the only time the committee is called is when we're reactive. There's an issue. The committee is not called to deal with this issue. We look at the matter. I say, okay, what's the way forward? What's the short term? What's the long term? We're only reactive. That's the purpose of a committee, to plan going forward. So I understand we want to make decisions here, but all decisions here will be short term. The more we can see that we're going to go clean and this and that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're talking about cleaning. We're talking about having a permanent scenario in place. I don't want to just, I know that we could defer this thing back to the committee to flesh out whatever. Right. But what I want from you, and that's one of the reasons why we bring it here, is for you and your department to come up with with a solution to present to us so that we could be able to have a problem. I don't ever go back to no committee for here a committee of a committee make a decision of a committee and a decision. Fed up with that. We dealing with that right now. We dealing with you coming up as a man on the ground, coming up with situation, giving us a written up scenario as to how we deal with this issue. We will look at it as a collective and we make a decision on it. No. This is not Mr. Mayor, we're technical officers. We can do that, Mr. Mayor. That's no problem. Come up with a proposal, no problem. That can be done earlier. Right. But that's what we're looking for, so we can be able to treat with this issue. I hear you in relation to the two trucks, but whatever you choose to do or put together in relation to those marketplaces has to be something that must be able to, we must be able to realize it over the test of time. All right, so I will leave that with you to be able to figure that. I see Councilor Sala.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, Councilors, I rise in support to endorse Councilor Jacob Point. Never mind he led a frontal assault on me today, but good point, I recognize it. Right. But what I want to say also, in relation to people, to this whole issue of indiscriminate dumping of waste, we should also address the issue of those unoccupied lots and deal with the proprietors. I heard Council Fraser mention that lot at opposite Sidwell. It is owned by someone. And we should find the proprietor and cause him to keep it clean. We must do that. There is a lot also in New Market Street, opposite the Churchill Hospital also. We have to deal with the proprietors. And we should seriously address the points raised by Councilor Jacobs. I think that is the solution, the long-term solution. Thank you.
I hear you and the long-term thing. We also have a long-term plan to deal with the Georgetown Chamber who have to deal with their members as it relates to receptacles and so on and so forth. All that's part of the long-term plan. But the issue is the place dirty and stinking, and that is visible to everybody. So while we got these fancy long-term agendas, we got to deal with the reality that exists right now, and that's got to get in place clean. We can deal with policing, we can deal with prosecuting, we can deal with education, we can deal with staking out people. All that will happen. You understand what I'm saying? All that happen, but we still got to get in place clean, and as we put things in place and put up CCTV or we have one person sitting in the office and watching all these cameras so we know exactly, and we have somebody going to love the ass. All right? So I'm just saying that I want you guys to understand that we have to be able to deal with these issues. But the fact is, the place is dirty. And somebody got to do something about it. And if we do nothing about it, then we only have these generic plans, be making sense. So Mr. Rollins, you'll provide us with a plan to deal with all of those issues. We can then determine more what you got to be allocated or closed with to deal with these issues, and we'll sort it out. Sir, thanks. We're here from Councilor Solomon, and then we'll proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
On a point of clarification, so did you say that? Was it your words that the dump site refuses to collect burnt garbage and waste? Yeah, look at it. So none. So the question therefore is, what obtains when you find yourself in a situation with an abundance of burnt garbage? What do you do with it?
What happens is that once the check put to them is reported, that's a for a period of time for it to become completely extinguished before it is like because it can out in like while transported in the vehicle or at the landfill. You have to be sure that it's completely extinguished.
Clarification. That was what I was wondering. So it's not gated by the refusing to collect burnt, but
So, for instance, for an example, if we take the skip filled with burn materials, but landfill, you will see that the waste and you say, okay, take that because it's not sure if that will be completely stable score now. Okay, so based on that,
Thank you. So, very quickly, two things. The issue of the waste and the garbage in the city. I was a part of the meeting where we met with the people from the GCCI sometime last week. And the past president of that organization is on record. He admitted, along Mr. Right, that 95% of businesses within the city do not own garbage disposal. So we have a problem there. If we have 95% of these people who don't own anything to dispose of the garbage, we have a problem there. Now, the gentleman here is saying to this council that was created by us. He pointed out that during 2017 to 19, when contractors were tasked with responsibility of removing waste gathered in the city, but we took it upon ourselves to remove the clause from the contract. So we created this problem and this Eastern Independence Council that when it was a word or a clause in the contract, we had to clean the city. And no, it's sorry,
but what is that for the 790 in the contract for this presented and property. And it's always a partner who was not part of any area because of the property. So we got to rule every day. So what is that?
And I think, oh, Mr. Robinson, 1 minute. Tell us about that's another challenge if we want to deal with this like issues and so on, or whenever we want. When the landfill is really open and closed.
The doors,
8 p.m. and open when? Next morning. See, that's the problem we have right here. This is a major issue. The landfill got to be walking around the clock. If we really and truly want to sort this problem out. And I hope the media take this in hand. The landfill got to open 24 hours or as long as possible.
Yeah.
At Christmas time, it's open till 1 and 2 o'clock, however.
That is a request for the party. So when I ask for permission,
Then you can tell me that if it is sent to us, we will say that based on a request from our thing, we will ask the landfill to open up at this time to take off there because the time has come for us for people to clean in the night. Even them contractors that we got put a shift in place for people clean and go and sleep for the rest of the day. So, Mr. Rollins, I'm glad you mentioned that, but I'm glad that that option is available so that we could at least get this thing fixed. Because if we can try to fix this thing and get this shift change and this timings sorted out, it's necessary that people can work on a different shift way into the night to allow for this kind of situation to happen. Because I'm telling you, I just left 2 cities or whatever in Peru. The people cleaning in the night. And I asked the people, I asked the mayor, I said, man, what is it? They said, man, they're on the ships or so. This is something we got to deal with. We can't just hope for this problem to go away like magic if we're doing nothing sensible about it. You know, I hear it that the bank closes at 8 o'clock. But I didn't know there was an option to allow them to go a further period. So for us to bring our garbage there. All right, I'm glad that you clarified this because it, as part of our plan to deal with the Mr. G.L. Human, Mr. Duncan, and all these other plans, one of those plans will have to be for the landfill site to open later. So to give us a chance to be able to clean the city. All right? Yes, quickly. We know that. We know that. We know that. Right. Yeah. It's immediate. Well, the plan has to be immediate. You have to work on the plan immediately. Yes. Okay. Fine. What, no, let me stay right. It's okay, you can stop. The point is, in relation to the landfill, what we will also need to work with our various contractors as well. To let them, so to make it viable for the landfill to open, is that maybe we'll have to figure out a proper shift system for them to work. Their people to also work to take the stuff in the night. To make it make sense. Sorry, there is a two. Well, which area are we doing to? He can tell us what we're doing to. Which areas we doing to? We doing commercial areas. Tell us, and I'll buy some and I'll buy some. Some of the one. So it's only the commercial area we doing to. Okay. So then, it's not all areas need to do too. You do maybe what's called the commercial area, Bankstown, Charleston, those areas that have a lot of weather, and then but the very residential areas you do one. But remember we're talking about it's only indiscriminate and otherwise for now. Me not talking about regular people clearing with the contractors. Yeah. I agree. We can like I said, we can come back to that. But for now, the key thing that is affecting this system is all them sites created all over the place, which is very visible to a lot of people. The persons who have pick up the garbage or the contractors, I'm not, and as they pick, what we will do is figure out how they continue to pick up as against the indiscriminate level. Then we will say, okay, we may need to add another one here, another pick up here, and another pick up here. But we first got to do one at a time. We got to get this right, then we got to get that right, then we got to get it right. And we also have to get the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce people to buy into this receptacle thing. Because if residential people put it in the receptacle, I don't know why they can't put their stuff in the receptacle, but people take them. Very well. Well, I like that suggestion. I like that suggestion. So outside of the well, I mean, here, Oh, go ahead, go ahead. I was hoping to finish, you know.
And also, we think that we should have multiple because I staff, police, military team. Majority of the time, the rest people, not people put them in the station, don't feel garbage, they call somebody, and somebody told them whatever. This is the main thing that we need to know. The constabulary military team to work on these other because we report these things multiple times, sending videos and all, when people go, somebody make Chinese man make a phone call and somebody know and somebody know that we need to know the people to work. Let me see police work and people get charged and pay the court.
Again, I heard you, Madam Green, on this issue. We had a conversation with the Georgetown Chambers, and we agree on a number of things, and the issue of receptacles and so on. TC, I think based on this, our discussion and the meeting itself, a number of things we should have had a public, together, a joint statement. I'm not sure if you put together your points and shared with them. Okay, whatever. Let us have a joint, produce some joint points that come out of the meeting. Let them also have some joint, and then we publish that. Then the next thing we'll let them know out of this meeting here, TC, is that based on our laws and so on and so forth, as raised by Madam Green, we may be looking to start taking steps based on the law to deal with these issues. If they don't get to work within a month to notify their people about these plans, and this is outside of the joint statement, you see. All right, the joint statement speak of whatever we have to do, but we intend to do these and take these actions. And if they don't put these things in place, we'll be moving to ask our public health department to approach them on these issues or these violations, and based on these violations, we'll be taking their members to court. All right, so let them know that we'll be taking a strong stance on this issue moving forward. Thank you, Mr. Rollins. Yes, a quick question and then we move on.
You 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's where if there is no requirement for that, just for them to have adequate garbage.
You know what? I'm glad you made that point. We got an engineer man with the venture. When we talk about this issue, we wanted to link our plans. Mr. City Works, you could speak about this, but I'm going to talk on that now because I know there's a big, take up a lot of time. We have tried to link the garbage plan to the people building and the apartment and the split up commercial whatever and so on, but he's not willing to enforce those issues based on or give them the permission subject to those kind of situations. So those are things that we have to revise. I hear you, but it's not, no, the law provides for what has to be done. Again, we'll allow for that this to be for TC. Let us revisit that matter at the City Works level. The issue concerning each business's garbage disposal plan. I remember we did with that because the private sector man, Govayo, came to us with it and talked to us about. So these are things that we never really tried to deal with it. But some set of protection is be happening and somebody protecting somebody. So, but we'll try to deal with it. Yeah. Yeah, right. But that guy, how do you get know? Yeah. Come on, no. Again, if, like I said, if we can look at back at all those things, but TC, while we bring up that as an agenda item, we'll discuss all those options that, as mentioned by Anthony. Thanks, Mr. Rod. TC, oh. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
As I was involved, but if something
Yeah, but let them know that we be visiting how we deal with garbage in the city, and that we be seeking to have the landfill open and along. We will get to that when you produce your report. We'll deal with that. TC, over to you. I know. We can. TC, go ahead.
I received excuses from Councillor Adams, Councillor Caesar, Councillor Istiani, Councillor Ashby. Councillor Beepat asked to leave early. At 4:30 is gone. Councillor Garway asked to leave at 5. Councillor Ferguson asked to leave at 5. And Councillor Copeland and Councillor Sortimer. Councillor Sortimer, Councillor Copeland asked to leave early. They have an emergency. Councillor Saul is also asking to leave at 6.
By the 6 o'clock, we done. No worry. Go ahead, TC.
It was mentioned briefly before, but the National Enhancement Committee will be having their cleanup exercise this Saturday. It's a countrywide cleanup involving businesses and everybody. The mayor's council is usually a part of the Georgetown cleanup, and invitation is extended to all councillors to be a part of that exercise. I haven't received the matrix as yet, but as soon as I do, I'll share it with the councillors so that everyone can know the areas that will be targeted. Oh. So I received a letter from Minister Anand Prasad in relation to the subvention work program for 2024. It says that the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development acknowledges receipt of the Council's proposal for the 2024 subvention work program dedicated to rehabilitating the Council's administration building. Regrettably, approval for the proposed program is not granted at this time. In light of this, the ministry recommends that an alternate program be promptly submitted with a financial allocation of $30 million.
Slow down. So you're saying that the monies for 2024 that was originally allocated or 30 million, and we suggested it goes towards the admin. He's saying that
it's not approved.
They're not thinking, but best to keep the money.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand. You know, if you're giving me something, no, it's a new building. But what I'm saying, no, we using the 30 million that we towards
The long term was the second we have the money.
And now we have it's a new.
But from talking to one of the staff, they said that basically they would rather capital work.
Because capital works.
That can benefit the community, sorry.
Oh, within the community rather than towards the building of the. But the building itself will develop the community.
So we can probably look back to the garbage trucks.
No. In hindsight, even though we did not use the money originally, like I said, it was to be for the garbage truck or whatever it was. Based on all that we're having and these challenges here with trucks and this and that, maybe we'll have to take the money and allocate it there. So it's not something that, but I'm saying that whenever we make certain decisions and so on, and if you're giving me a gift, you can't tell me why you do the gift. You understand what I'm saying? Which mayor? Be careful, be careful, huh? All right. Yeah, yeah. So TP, we can look at it. But I'm just saying, I'm glad that I want to be recorded. That we should just give them back the money. But and it will be recorded. But we will look at the money and make a decision on it. And about the bread, eh? Go ahead, TC. Oh, hold on. No. We're taking your money. No, I never said. I said we should. In hindsight, we should take the money and look at it and evaluate it. No, we can decide what we do. With the garbage issue and all this thing and stuff, we can go buy some truck. So it's okay. In hindsight, we would have changed the decision anyway. So go ahead, DC.
Sir, I received an invitation to attend the meeting at GWA. This was last Friday, but I'm just updating the council. It was in relation to the installation of HDP transmission mains along High Street and Avenue of the Republic, Region 4. I did attend that meeting along with a few other councillors where GWA shared their intention of changing some of the network pipes within the city. They did indicate that it will be done in 3 lots, lot 1, 2, and 3 lots. Lot 1 will be from on High Street. High Street, Kingston, sorry.
Change pipes? Yes. What kind of pipe they got? Steel pipe at the bottom there? Or PVC?
Compressed PVC.
Lot 1 is from High Street, Kingston, between Lamaha and Pegasus, which is ongoing. Lot 2, Avenue of the Republic, between Church and Hatfield Street. And Lot 3, High Street on Hatfield Street. High to Hatfield. Sorry.
High to Hatfield. Let me see. High Street is there. High Street is Hatfield and there's
on High Street up to Hatfield Street.
Yeah, TC, all I'm suggesting in this case is that the engineer be a part of the process all the way. Ensure that whoever is part of it understand is not compromising any of our infrastructure in any particular way. And that from time to time, the engineer can bring a report to the council every quarter to speak to what's going on this matter.
They did say that they would form a monitoring committee.
Right, which includes
council will be a part of it. So the engineer will be updated.
Go ahead.
They do the same thing in line of France. They those names and what can be the couldn't get a plan of in other parts. They don't do the same thing. Even now, when it's finished changing those pipes, people's parking my bridge, it broke my bridge, and all they do is put back some sand there and that's it. The park, I can't park in my park because I'm always waiting for me. Fix it back so I hope that proper monitoring.
Especially this, because what I'm saying, the infrastructure of the council and residents is being affected, and the people are not, they're not and they're not bringing it back to the state that it originally supposed to be. Deputy.
Hey, talk to them. This is ridiculous.
At a certain distance and walk because it's not going to be. It's terrible. Because I tell myself, I can't get to my home. I come in with the door, I come in the box and I don't walk.
You hate it. You don't want to tell me.
He can't live in this isolation.
Because remember they told us the same thing. Nobody.
So TC, you hear those concerns. What is your view? How do you, it has to be penned to them with the understanding of it. Yes, we understand development, but we also understand inconvenience. And I mean, development comes with some amount of inconvenience, but it can't be at the risk of people if they get sick or whatever it is, that they can't be. So it's a tricky situation.
I don't know how to describe it. But we thought we take this hole in front of my yard. The hole was there for almost 6 weeks. I had to be throwing bleach in the hole every time I see the mosquito larva coming up. And then when they come back, all they do, they dredge out that water, sit in the main, throw back the sand there, and gone and leave it. So I don't see
TC, how do we have to monitor this? Councilor Hines, let me hear you.
I attend, I'm hearing my coach. I attended that meeting, but I recognize or I understand based on what you said, and you're right. Development comes with inconvenience, but these inconvenience must be catered for in the project outlay. Now, that to my mind was attempted by GWI in this instance, because on the past round, when they did it for space coming down through a street and Merriman Park,
we made a big issue.
We made a big issue of it, and on this round now, they decided that they will engage a number of stakeholders, including the city council, to discuss this matter way forward, and they were saying that they wanted to go to begin execution in 2 weeks' time. It was very clear to them that where this thing is being executed now, it will occur in areas that have dense population. And obviously, there's going to be some inconvenience that would occur. The president of the GCCI agreed with me with a submission I made to say that, look, you have to develop a PR thing with flyers or something, telling people long in advance what will happen. Because if you don't, it will happen just as we had with the people on Church Street. Church Street were at least placed to be used, and they were complaining that these people have come and we didn't know that. So they have decided that they will now put in place those measures, including engaging the police, where the police was there to make sure that notices for road closure and road and traffic regulation, all those things will have to be taken into account. And as a result of this kind of submission, I understand from Mr. Batch that he will set up what do you call it? A monitoring team to address all these concerns that were raised at the level of the engagement that we had. Because
put in the card before the
no,
broke up the place, and now they put in measures in place.
No, this is a different project in relation to the one whatever you.
They got to change, you know, the eyes, so they put in the eyes before the car before the eyes.
No, but
because when you got inconvenience people, then they're coming up with this mechanism. They don't make no sense.
No, this is the major. I think that my colleague here is speaking about it.
It's the same thing. People park it for their pipe, and then they farming them, and then inconvenience is the same issue.
Chair,
I'm still trying to put the mechanism in place.
Chairman, the project to which I am referring.
I have to be recognized, sir.
If you want to come me, say you get them, but I recognize you.
Chair, but the project to which my colleague is referring is not the same project that GW had engagement on. This is a different project. It is an what I call an extension. Well, an extension of the port space where they did a long thing, going back that side. That's what I'm saying. But these little works are ancillary works undertaken by GWI in those kind of communities where my colleague lives.
The reality is that if the people doing certain work, they got
let people know.
Ought to have reported it to the town clerk and the mayor city council. They haven't done that. and that we didn't have somebody to walk them along step of the way to be able to deal with this issue. TC, the issue concerning where Councillor Gary talked about in Tocqueville, I'm not sure who's the contractor, but if we could get to the contract, no, GW able to give it to a contractor. Okay, so let us get to those persons to understand what's going on with Weber, and let them go and do what they have to do to fix and remedy that situation. In relation to this new issue, our engineers should be very much part of the process. Like you said, they will have a monitoring committee that includes the council. Outside of the engineer being part of it, let the city works chairman be a member of that monitoring committee as well. To deal with this issue so that any concerns is addressed, and he will be responsible for dealing with those concerns on behalf of the council. Let me hear you quickly. Yeah.
It's just a quick advice. It would be a good thing if we find out from GWI what is livelihood restoration plan, relations plan, because that plan allows you to fix back the place where you dig it up, you fix it back as quickly as possible, and continue with your livelihood. Or you put measures in place to reduce a negative impact as quickly as possible. Maybe right? So when
any job like that's supposed to have, you must restore it back to where it was supposed to be. Go ahead. No, but I guess
no, but I'm trying to tell the council because myself was admitted along with chairman of the city works. So what the contractor said and what was told to us is that they'll be working in the nights. And then also when they dig up to place the pipes, they will do it in the nights, but before the morning, it will be back to crush and run. This is what was told to us.
And then will they finish it back to how it used to be or who will come and cast back the place and all?
So crush, I think they're engaging public works in that, but I'm saying while they're doing the contract, it will be back to crush and run for the next day.
Okay, understand. Councillor Young.
Most GWI don't do road.
Right.
What they're currently doing is working as a team. GWI come and rectify the pipes. Public works or sales vehicles, a contract come behind and do the road work. I think, Mr. Mayor, my colleague Councillor President said just now, Councillor Ansari said just now, we should give up notice when we do these work. The field contract is there for signing, and they need to do a concrete drain on both sides of the road. They served notices last year, and nobody has started moving us yet. So I guess Councillor Hines could assist us in this.
Mr. Hank, that question wasn't meant for you to answer.
I know.
Tom Clark, please.
I don't have to answer.
Tom Clark, you understand what the motive and what we have to do and what you have to do in relation to the writing. Yes, go ahead.
I received a petition from some of the residents of Meadowbrook Terrace. They made a reference to a caravan that was recently placed in the area where the council granted permission for Mr. Williamson to do night vending. Yeah, it's there. As a matter of fact, they came to see me first, and I did ask them to put their concerns in writing. I know they went upstairs to see you, but you weren't there. And I received a letter. I'd like to read it. It says, the residents of Meadowbrook Terrace seek your undivided intervention into a matter of gross injustice and disrespect to our community and residents. Well, it was initially addressed to you. It says, sir, on Friday, 2nd August 2024, sometime around midday hours, it was observed by residents of our community that a man who's unknown to the residents came and placed a blue metal caravan that were also placed on wheels on the parapet of Meadowbrook Terrace for the purpose of conducting business. The next day, another one was also placed there. Please allow us, as concerned citizens, to remind your office, that our communities were formed between the year 1970 to 1972 for us to erect low-cost homes for public servants and their families. And as it stands in the council municipalities book 2801 states that no structure of any kind should be erected on any parapet or pavement or blocking of any roadway. Sir, when the owner of the caravan was being approached by a resident, frankly states that he was given permission by yours truly. Please. No, I don't like that swing.
DC, don't let them distract you. Please proceed.
The residents who live there for the past 60 years and over would like the caravans to be removed with immediate effect for our safety and cleanliness of our communities. The affirmation of cleanliness the state of quality of being kept clean, standard of cleanliness have been criticized by visitors of the public. Sorry, it's a bit confusing. Please find attached signatures of the residents, which occupies the 6 range apartments, 20 family houses. Copy to the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Ms. Ms. Dennis Moore, and myself. And Dennis Miller. Sorry, Dennis Miller. Sorry. And there's a list of signatures.
Listen, I don't know much about this. I can't picture the exact area. But I would like persons who from that particular